This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1164, Comic Talk.
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek, uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Brian Christman.
Comic Geek Speak.
And thank you for joining us. This episode of Comic Geek Speak is brought to you by the London Super Comic Con.
Woohoo! Super Comic Convention.
Yeah, I know. I have to be careful what I say. It's more fun. It's just Los Coco.
Los Coco.
The London Super Comic Convention, Los Coco.
Very good.
Thank you, Alex and Jack.
Jack.
So, if you didn't hear by now, well, that's crazy. But if you didn't, we are helping to put on the London Super Comic Convention. It's happening February 25th and 26th at the XL Center in London. It's a big, enormous convention center, and we're going to have a pretty big show. It's going to be awesome. And we're pretty excited to go. So let me hit you with the list of guests as it is right now.
Hit us.
Not too hard.
Brian Boland, Mark Buckingham, Mike Carey, Howard Chaykin, Ian Churchill, Jim Chung, Paul Cornell, Al Davison, Mike Diodato Jr., Victor, who's this guy? Victor Druzhinu?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know.
Neil Edwards, Steve Epting, Duncan Figueredo, Kieran Gillen, Jamal Eigel, Phil Jimenez, Bob Layton, Andy Lanning, Emanuela Lupacchino, Kevin McGuire, Mike Norton, Peter Wen, Guillermo Ortego, Nick Percival, David Peterson, George Perez, Sean Phillips, Bill Sienkiewicz, Tim Tyler, Fred Van Lente, J.K. Woodward, and Bernie Wrightson. It's a fairly significant lineup.
Yes.
And I think there'll be more before that's all over.
I think so, too. Oh, yes. Victor is a Romanian comic book artist who started in 2008, worked with Zenoscope on Tales from Wonderland, did the Alice one-shot and the Mad Hatter 2 for you, Murd. So there you go.
So, awesome. Go to londonsupercomic-convention.com for all the information. And don't forget to buy your ticket now if you're going to go, because they're doing the whole thing where you can get sketches from people if you buy your ticket early. So you should go get a ticket. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's a big convention in London, and so if you're a European CGS listener, this is your chance to come out and
get on the ground floor.
A little closer than coming all the way to the U.S. to say hello. You can just go to London, hop a train, and go to London.
Because Jamie is taking his England trip along the same time as London Convention.
Yep.
Brian is planning on going, as am I, and I'm still not sure about Murd. He's, 80% Murd?
Yep, and sort of inching closer to 100.
Ooh.
Nice. So we might be at 81.
Yes.
We'll keep you updated, folks.
I'll leave the chops at home, but Murd will be there.
We're setting up our Murdometer here in the studio.
Let's go to the pledge board.
The phones are ringing.
And the manometer reads 81.
We're silly.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. So, Comic Talk this weekend was fun.
Yes, I wanted to ask about that.
So, Tasha, Jamie, and I hopped in the car and headed to Pittsburgh, and we met up with Bill and Danny and Ryan and Chris from Wild Pig, and we hung out for the weekend, and we went to see the Alex Ross exhibit at the Andy Warhol Museum, which was pretty freaking fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, Sal really outdid himself with that. He said he put a lot of work in it, and you can tell. It really shows.
Okay.
It was really, really cool. Seeing all that Alex Ross art in full size. That Crisis poster.
Oh, is it there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Man.
I so wanted to go to that.
And that giant Marvels one where it's like it spells the word Marvel, and all the... that thing is right there in life size, the original. You're just like, oh my god.
When's the exhibit there till?
It's like
Till
sometime in January.
Yeah, like maybe like the middle of the month.
I know.
It was worth the 4 hours.
Sure.
Oh, I know.
it
I
was.
sure it was. And I so wanted to go, but, I'm working overnights. My schedule's kind of wacky, and I know Murd at the barn.
Work for me too, and I can take solace in the fact that they were really busy at the barn, and I really couldn't have been spared.
Yeah.
So we'll live vicariously through you guys.
My family got in the way.
And then we went to the Gypsy Cafe for
Yes.
dinner and got to see Jim and Mel and Violetta, their daughter.
Oh, okay.
And the food was freaking amazing. So again, if
What
you're
was on
anywhere,
the menu that night?
well, we had a bunch of appetizers. The one that really stood out was the baked goat cheese. Was insane. Oh my God, everyone kind of simultaneously had an orgasm at the table while we were eating. And
I'll have what she's having.
and the dinner I had Cossack chicken, which was delicious, and everything was just amazing. So we just had a great time. The whole weekend there were adventures at breakfast and silliness at all times. Because when you're with the Wild Pig guys, it's so pick on Chris the entire time, which is great. And we saw Dan too. Then
Yes.
Dan,
Because he lives out there.
yeah,
Yes, he does.
so that was cool. He came out to the museum, and then we saw he and his wife and their 3-week-old baby Sunday
wow.
morning for breakfast.
Nice.
So
I saw Ryan at the Christmas barn, Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah, he said they came out. Yeah, and they went to Christmas Village too. He's like, that was a mistake.
It's that unto itself is so different than what it was 30 years ago. I mean, yeah, I was little and it was kind of cooler, but it was also working in working order. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of stuff broke there.
He said they went last year, but they went on New Year's Eve, and so it was dead. He said this time it was completely packed and the lines, and he was like, okay, it was ridiculous. Never again.
Yeah. Well, Matt used to work there when we were in high school.
Oh, really?
It was a little bit run down then, too.
I believe it.
But the amount of cash they must bring in, like, how,
Yeah.
I know.
they're just taking all of it and putting it in the bank, going, ha ha ha. We're just gonna until the last decoration falls over and no one shows up. Then we're gonna retire. We're not gonna put a penny back into the infrastructure and just let it ride.
That's what it seems.
Yeah, I'm sure our listeners are probably wondering at this point what we're talking about.
It doesn't even matter. Look it up.
Christmas Village. Yeah, it's very near the Christmas barn, but no relation. It's just like a barn and its environs, just like its yard, decorated with lots of lights, and they charge people money to come in and walk around and look.
And not just lots of lights, but like plastic gaudy Santa Clauses, that are cracked and paint faded from 30 years of exposure to the elements. That.
Two-dimensional wooden standees of
Yes.
different characters with little strings of lights around the outside. When Matt was working there, they actually had some DC Comics characters set up like that. There was a little light-up Hal Jordan.
Nice.
This is before most people knew what Green Lantern was.
Yeah,
so
right.
that was kind of cool, at least. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to get out to the Warhol before it changes the exhibit for Alex Ross, but I don't think it's going to happen. Unless you want to hop in a car sometime, Shane, and just...
I was trying to get out. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 of us here who didn't.
Oh,
understand.
I'm sorry, Murr. I looked right past you.
It's a habit of yours.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Once Christmas is over, you got like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Talking about Christmas and
true.
Christmas Village and stuff, we got our family pictures done this weekend, which we always do, which was part of the whole conundrum of not getting to Pittsburgh for me. But the person who took our pictures, her great uncle is Michael Keaton, like the Michael Keaton.
As opposed to another Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's from the Pittsburgh area, I thought.
Well, and she grew up in Ohio, close to where the house that they filmed The Christmas Story, A Christmas Story is at. And her family still goes to the tour every year that Ralphie, I think, gives. I think she said the kid, Ralphie, that was in it, gives the tour of the place. They have a whole bunch of props and stuff out there. So I thought that was kind of cool. I had a little bit of geek. I'm like thinking, how do I work in? Get me Michael Keaton's autograph. Get me but I didn't do that.
We discovered this weekend that Danny from Wild Pig has never seen A Christmas Story.
What?
Me neither.
How do you? What?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, well,
How do you not
Turn
do
around
that?
and go home.
See you. Good night,
leave
everybody.
your previews and go watch Christmas Story.
How do you not do that?
I don't know. I've never seen E.T. either.
What? Oh my God!
I don't get out much.
Wow.
Yeah, but A Christmas Story is arguably one of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh my God, yeah.
But
it's good. I've never really understood the general hysteria for
because
it.
it's the best Christmas movie that's made. Period.
It's fun.
humbug.
I don't really agree with that.
Name one that's better.
Name one that's better.
Yep. See, can't do it. Next
A
topic.
Don't
Nightmare
say it's
Before Christmas.
Nah.
Well, this is kind of subjective anyway.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. And I do not agree.
9 out of 10 comic geeks agree. Christmas Story is the greatest.
And the 10th one is Murd.
Well, and the 9th one hasn't seen it. He's sitting right here to my left.
Well, I'm not part of the 10 then. I have to abstain.
I like it. I just don't see why everyone's so gone over about it. And it wasn't even a commercial success.
Doesn't mean it wasn't awesome.
They show it on a continuous loop on TBS. And
I know,
That's
and I
right.
sit down at least once. I watch it once all the way through, and it's just in the background all the time.
Well, how about It's a Wonderful Life?
I don't like that one.
Lame.
I don't
Lame?
Like, I do not like
Not
It's a
Oh,
Wonderful
come
Life.
on.
Mary.
I won't-
Jimmy
won't
Stewart,
go-
Donna Reed, you got Sheldon Leonard.
Must
Yeah,
have had
they're
some bad
okay.
liquor.
I won't say that I
Stupid.
dislike it as much as that, but it is. If it's on flip, I flip it right off.
Yeah, I can't watch that.
Guys you're dead inside. Look who's talking, right?
Yeah, right.
Shame.
Well, speaking of movies, if I can segue for a bit, we've all now seen the Muppet Movie in the room. Even Brian saw the Muppet Movie in the
Hell
theater.
yeah, I saw Muppet Movie before some of you bitches.
Yeah, I know you did.
You saw it 2 hours before. me.
Yeah. I farted in that seat, just so you know. I guess I know you said.
Yeah, because you know exactly where I would look like you do.
Exactly.
I stuck Ben in that seat.
Okay.
So, Murd, you finally saw it this weekend, I saw.
Yes, I finally did. Yeah, like the 10 o'clock show on Saturday night after the Christmas barn closed down.
Was it
And?
just you, or did your whole Christmas
No,
barn
it was
crew?
just me.
And
We might go see it again later as a group. I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
Verdict?
It was great. I mean, it's the best Muppet movie we've had in the last 20 years,
Oh,
certainly.
easily.
There are things I would have done differently, but still, I was very happy with the result.
Yeah,
what about the awesome Toy Story short? in
that
front?
was great.
Wow, yes.
And was all the original voices and everything? Like,
Uh-huh.
how did they even make that? And I didn't even hear about it. Like, that's very cool.
That's when something cool that happens that you don't know about. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see any previews for the movie at all going in. So everything was new to me. I mean, I've seen the previews since and like all the parodies they did for the previews. And
I didn't
everything.
see all of those. I saw some of the regular commercials where they're taking clips of the movie, but I didn't see many.
I mean,
of
there's
the
so many
parodies.
things in there that I would have just said, "Oh, there's that from the." Would have been ruined because of the previews. Like I laughed out loud when they threw Walter over the fence or tried to throw him over the fence. You know, when you first see Kermit with the nice angelic music in the background, and you see the bus driving by and that stuff. I thought that was fun.
Did you catch so when Walter and Gary
Spoilers.
Oh yes.
when they pull up to the bus station, did you see like the the theater? Did you see the banners that had Jim Henson stuff on them and
Oh yeah.
a couple
yeah.
other
I try to
spoilers,
spot a few
Yeah,
things
there's
like
the
that.
Wall of Fame there with
That was
Kermit with
great.
various guest stars, including Jim himself.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was a really fun movie. Like I said, I was caught off guard because you guys are big Muppets fans, and that's why I sat out of the Muppet episodes because I was telling you, Shane. I think I told you I haven't seen the episodes. I think since they aired.
That's crazy.
I know. So I was like, this wave of emotion came over me in the theater. I'm watching it. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
thank God no one was.
Well, that had
when I
had
go to the
its
theaters, no one sits
desired
anywhere near
effect.
me. So I think I was
you
by
smell.
myself in the middle of the theater, and I was bawling a little bit there. I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's just
when
with your
Rainbow
family.
Connection, I went with my family, so I had one kid on each side of me, and Carlene was 2 seats over. And Rainbow Connection starts, and you just hear the first chord play on the banjo.
Oh, yeah.
And Carlene looks over at me. I could see everybody heard because Matt and Ben both know I love that song. And Carlene nudges Matt and goes, "Look, Daddy's gonna cry." And I'm like,
Yeah.
and there's tears streaming down.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, geez, I was prepared
yes.
for that. I was like a little
Yeah,
embarrassed.
that was
but, you
really
know,
good.
it
I
was-
wasn't embarrassed. Screw it. That was great.
Well, yeah.
It had its desired effect on you guys.
Yeah.
Spreading the schmaltz pretty thick there in the hopes of reigniting longtime Muppet fans' passion.
And I'll
for the
tell you,
characters.
when I saw it, there was a hell of a lot of kids around my kids or younger's age, and some of them were like, before Miss Piggy came on, "Where's Miss Piggy? I want to see Miss Piggy. Where's this? Where's that?" So some kids had some knowledge from their parents, which was kind of cool to see that there are parents showing Muppet episodes to kids. But a lot of the adults were laughing just as much, if not more at times, than what we were, which was great. It was a lot of fun to sit there and see. It wasn't packed to capacity, so we could spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, 10 o'clock Saturday night, there were, I don't think, not even a dozen people there.
It was really, really a good experience. Just stay for the end for Phenomena.
I stay through the movie anyway. Absolutely. When I was watching some of the trailers, I know there was a lot of guest shots that might have got cut out.
Yeah.
Like I saw Wanda Sykes was a jailer or at the prison. I guess Muppets got cut out of the movie, but it was in one of the previews. So I'm wondering who else got cut out of the movie.
That'll
Judd
be a special
Hirsch.
edition.
Judd Hirsch?
He was there.
He was there at the phones.
At the telethon.
He was at the telephone.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I didn't even see him there.
No, I
saw him
it.
in the end credits stand. I was like, wow, because the two best things on TV in the late 70s, according to this observer who wasn't born yet, were The Muppet Show and Taxi.
Yeah.
So to see Judd Hirsch work with the Muppets, I mean, that's pretty high octane awesomeness by my standards.
Sure. I was going crazy because I packed all the Muppet DVDs away as we were getting the house ready.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think that when the movie was going to come out, I'd want to pull at least some of them, my favorite things, and watch them. And I've been going crazy. And finally, we went to dig out some Christmas decorations. And man, I really, for an hour, dug out all my Muppet DVDs, and they are safely back at my home again.
Nice.
I was watching them all weekend then.
Anybody read any comics?
Yes, because I'm working overnights at the store from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., and I can't really leave to go out to get lunch or whatever. I take a lot of books to read on my breaks and my lunch, which, I get a half an hour for lunch and like 2 15-minute breaks. So that's an hour of comic reading, pretty much by myself in the store because I go in everyone else is working. So I'm not as far behind as you, Murd, in my reading, but
Who is?
but I'm maybe
pretty close.
6 months behind on certain books. So I just been grabbing stacks of them and reading them. A couple of the tail ender DC titles I've been catching up on before the relaunch, like Power Girl, for instance, which I have to read the last 2 issues, but it's kind of interesting. Spoilers. What they did with Karen Starr. She has her own company, Starware. It's a big technology company, and she's trying to put a public face out there and keep her identity secret as Power Girl. And what she does, I think even Batman gives it advice. She becomes a redhead as Karen Starr for the public. Of course, she's a blonde as Power Girl. So I thought, well, that's weird, but it'll never be talked about again because she's now in Mr. Terrific, as a blonde new character altogether. So, did they have any plans for that to go forward with that? I thought it was kind of interesting. I caught up on the Teen Titans run, like from 94 to 100, where they introduced this the new character Solstice. I guess she was introduced about a year ago in the Wonder Girl one shot. But this new character, sun-based powers, and she's now a part of the team, the Teen Titans. But of course, now they relaunched Teen Titans, and she's not there yet. I hear inklings that she's going to maybe be redone in the new relaunch. But it's like, again, with these tail-ender books, I was wondering if the creators knew this was going to happen, the relaunch, and if they just went ahead with their stories anyway, or what happened when they found out, like, wait a minute, I just did this whole new change, and now it's all for naught.
I had all these plans, and now
All these plans.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure
a lot
that
of them,
happened in some cases.
They'd already been working ahead by the time they got the words.
That's
They're
true.
like, yeah, what the hell? It's just
And you can tell some of the titles have, like, inventory issues or, like, throwaway one-shots. Like I mentioned before, I think Batman and Robin, the last issue was kind of out there. Some of the creative teams changed. Like, I think Nicholas Scott was off of the interiors of Teen Titans towards the end because she was working on new stuff. But what I have to read yet is I want to read the year-long, well, I guess like 14 issues, Superman and Wonder Woman. I think I have all the issues. The Straczynski stuff where he sort of stopped in the middle of
walking
it.
across the United
And
States.
when it was announced that he was stopping, that's when I stopped.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't buy the issues as they came out. They were dollar bin or even less, like 50-cent fodder.
Nice.
So I think I put together a complete run of those. So I want to read those to catch up. Again, it's all thrown away now, essentially, but I still want to read that because I have all these back issues. Like I got a bunch of Flashpoint minis, the Captain Cold,
Sure.
the Frankenstein, the Deathstroke, which the Batman, I got them for 50 cents, most of those. It's
The
like-
Batman one I liked.
which
I
I
did
said
read that one. That was pretty good.
So it's like, okay, I'm in the middle of the night. I'm mostly caught up with the new stuff. So I want to catch up with the old stuff, which it's nice to read it, but it doesn't necessarily matter what's going on right now. I also caught up on like Morning Glories. I was behind on that. That's really interesting. Are you still reading that, Mert? Are you getting it in the trades?
I got the first trade. Have not picked up the second one yet.
Okay. I got the first trade. I enjoyed that. It's basically these group of 6 kids who are connected somehow, I guess with their birth dates, and they go to this special school, Morning Glories Academy, and it's very, very odd. Things are not what they seem to be. They're slowly explaining things to you or making more mysteries of what's going on. And
so many twists, so many red herrings.
Turns.
It was making my head hurt by the end of the first trade.
Right.
That's one reason why I decided not to even jump on board for the second one.
But I started getting these single issues with issue 7 when the price, I think it was $3.50 cover price for the first 6 issues. Then it went to $2.99. And I've been reading along, and some of the later issues, like 10, 11, 12, they're still $2.99, but they've got like 34 pages of content in them, of actual story. 34 pages for $2.99. I mean, in this day and age, you're looking to get 20 pages for $2.99. Now, they do an interesting thing. Some of the pages are reproduced from earlier issues. Like, say, Casey and Hunter, 2 of the characters will interact. You'll see, like, Casey's, what happens to her after that. The next issue, they'll do the same scene again. You see where Hunter goes from there. I thought, well, that's kind of nice. But you're still getting more than 20, 22 pages for $2.99 in certain issues. But, yeah, this story's... I have to reread it again because there's so many things going on. It's like a big mystery, and I think Nick Spencer has it planned out for 50 to 60 issues, so we'll see how long that goes. But it's still holding my interest. And I think Joe Eisman does the interior art for that. It's very, very nice stuff. You don't think so?
I thought it was pretty strictly mediocre.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad you did.
So I'm keeping up with that. Oh, and I also caught up. I'm going to keep rambling here for a while. I finally read, I guess from about 2 years ago, when issue 600, when Archie got married to Veronica.
Oh, yeah.
And then Betty. And there was a minor uproar at the time about that. But what it was essentially, spoilers, Archie walks up memory lane.
The other direction.
To see what would happen if he married Veronica.
Throwing us a cave ball at him.
And then later on he goes another direction with Betty, and they sort of tie in the Robert Frost poem about the road less taken, whatever.
The road less traveled. Well, that's
because Archie comes to a fork and he takes one side Veronica,
in the wood and
one side Betty, and each girl gets like 3 issues. The proposal, the wedding, and the after they have kids. They both have twins in each storyline. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm not as familiar with the whole Archie universe, but everybody's there. Jughead. Oh, jeez, my goodness. Jughead, Midge. Mr. Weatherby. The parents. Hiram. Is it Hiram Lodge? Veronica's father.
Yes, his Lodge is the last name.
Right.
I'm not sure of his first name.
So they're all there, and it was a really interesting story. And I think out of that story, they did a Life with Archie magazine size format where the story continues. One half where he marries Betty, one half where he marries Veronica. Because I've seen him at the store. We carry the Archie books at the Toys R Us, and the store it's still going on. They actually traded in the upcoming previews episode we're going to do. They talk about that. I think Norm Brayfogel's doing the art on that, so I'm going to have to check that out. Really interesting stuff.
I was going to ask you if they continued the story of who's married to who.
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, but again, I don't know about continuity with Archie there. I mean, they've been in high school for 70 years almost, so who knows what the continuity is. But I thought it was pretty interesting. And I'm so mad it took me so long to read this stuff. I mean, it's 2 years. That's 2 years behind, I think, because they're up to issue 624, I think, right about now, where Kiss comes to Riverdale. What's so funny? You got that laugh going.
I give it to Kiss. They really, it's not shameless. That's not the right word, but they know how to market themselves. All these years later, what's that?
Shameless is the right word. Yes,
self-exploitative.
They sure don't mind. I mean, William Shatner's the same way. He does anything because it's a paycheck. Why not? You know, how many times do we see shows get canceled because some actor thinks they're going to hit it big in a movie or something? Nothing ever happens with them when we think, you idiot, you should have just stuck with the show, got your paycheck for
easy
as
for
long
us to
as you
say
could
that,
get.
right.
Yeah, totally easy for us. We're not making that kind of money.
Right. But I was amazed at how much stuff I had sitting around that I hadn't read. Recent stuff. I mean, I know I have my whole
Oh
library.
my God, I've got
Silver
boxes
Age.
of that stuff. I am getting close on some titles before the DC relaunch of 4, 5, 6 years on things. It drives me crazy.
You are gaining on me.
Yeah.
I got to read something. I sat down with the first volume of, I guess Dark Horse published the first volume of the Manara collection.
Oh, I saw your post about that on Facebook.
I plowed through it in 2 sittings. It's fantastic. The artwork, I mean, you don't need to know anything about Manara artwork that you don't already know. It's some of the greatest comic art that exists. But the stories were really good. There were 2 stories in it, long stories. Not, it's a full hardcover that's like 200 pages or whatever, and really nice Western stories that were just really, really good. One was actually written by Manara, but the first one was written by someone else whose name I've forgotten. But excellent. Like, they were great stories, and then you have that beautiful Manara artwork, and it's just a great combination. So definitely pick that up if you see that around. You know, it was really worth it.
So are these stories serialized, or are they just is it just a collection of
I think they might have
unrelated
been.
short
I
stories?
think they might have been serialized in the past, but it was now collected in. You know, the first story was like 150 of that, and then the second story was 50 pages or thereabouts. So, and then I don't know what's going to be in volume 2 because these are self-contained stories. So.
I'm in the middle of reading Iron Age. More on that when I finish it, hopefully by next week.
And I read exactly one comic book. It was an issue of the Hal Jordan Spectre series from the early 2000s. Don't have much to say about that. But I also began reading something that I picked up at the New York Con this year. I was at one of the dealer booths. They had a whole ton of copies of both the first and second volumes for $5 each, so I grabbed volume 1. It's from Checker Publishing. Checker Book Publishing, excuse me. And it's called Theodore Seuss Geisel, The Early Works of Dr. Seuss, Volume 1. And it's just a collection of the early, pre-children's book works of Theodore Geisel, who later became known as Dr. Seuss. It's a bunch of advertising campaigns he did artwork for, a couple of informational pamphlets he did for the U.S. military, because he was a very patriotic individual, Mr. Geisel was, and so he participated in the Frank Capra's Signal Corps, you know, the man who brought us the definitely not lame film It's a Wonderful Life. Dr. Seuss worked with him, and he produced an informational pamphlet about malaria, and it's reproduced in its entirety in this book. And also a bunch of magazine illustrations from like 1927 onward through the early to mid-40s. It's a lot of interesting glimpse at the early career of the man. A bunch of political cartoons. Yep, I just decided, since, thanks to the Grinch, December has kind of become unofficial Seuss season, so I just decided I'd dig this out and look through it. So, yep, it is recommended to anyone who's interested in Dr. Seuss's work.
That's cool.
And there's a second volume that's been out for a couple of years, so
I
if you
didn't know
like
that
Volume
was-
1, pick that up, too.
Didn't even know that was out there.
Cool. Well, joining us now to talk about an upcoming art show is Mr. Sal Abenanti. Welcome, Sal.
Well, guys, what's happening?
Yay,
Uncle
it's
Sal.
Oh, man, I don't know. This is like deja vu again, huh? So close to the holidays? Are you sure it's safe or what?
Yeah.
Well, you have 30 seconds to tell us about your exhibit, and then we have to hang up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, listen, I'm surprised you're giving me 30 seconds.
Well, now,
I don't know what was going on, man. They approached me about this thing. I guess they saw the guys over at Challengers.
Mm-hmm.
Rogues Gallery is a comic store it's a comic store, and they picked up the space next to them, which is and they turned it into a gallery for comic book art primarily. And the guy, one of the owners, Patrick, saw the stuff I was doing on Facebook, just my sketch of the day thing, and he emailed me, said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing an exhibition?" And I said, "Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what they were talking about, but I said, sure, it sounds cool." So
Awesome. So what are the details?
it starts this Friday. It's going to be there a month from this, what is it, the 9th?
Yeah, the 9th.
Of December to the 9th of January. It's here in Chicago. It's at Challengers Rogues Gallery. It's on 1845 on Western Avenue in Chicago in Bucktown. And there's 50 pieces, and I dropped off like 70 so that whatever sells, they just replace it with another piece. And it's going to be there a month. And I kind of cut it down lean and mean to 50 pieces that I really like, because not every piece I did was necessarily meant to be something I wanted to sell. And it's in a good part of town. It's in Bucktown. There's a lot of local grassroots galleries in that area. And I know it's, crazy month with December, but you're going to be going crazy. But, it's cool. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be there Friday night. We got the opening from 8 to 11. Hopefully none of my relatives will... You'll be able to find it really easy. It's where all the black eye rocks will be parked. So... And, if you walk in instantly, and it's like I told them, we're not going to have any sausage or anything going, so Jamie probably won't come. So. But I'm going to, you can get all the information you want off my Facebook page or off of their site, challengerscomics.com, and or off of my site. And I'm going to post all the pieces and things like that. Or you can see them all on my blog, SamAbbottanty.com. So. But it's cool. I'm excited. Yeah. I don't know what to expect. I've done a million of these things in the past with Alex and with Bill and with other people, but this is the first exhibition of my stuff. So hopefully all my warrants are taken care of and nobody will serve me.
Well, I've actually been to this store. I was there after C2E2 back in March, and I got to see the back where they have the exhibits, and it's really nice. They have enough wall space to put everything up on the wall, and then actually in the main store itself, they have all along the top of the wall, they have photos of all the previous gallery exhibits, and I think it's a really cool idea to have it right next to the comic shop. I mean, literally right behind the shop. You can, I'm sure, have the velvet rope taken down for it, but so that's a nice store. It is a nice area.
Yeah, they're good guys. It got written up as by Chicago Magazine as like the best independent store in the city, and they're nice guys. And anything related to comics nowadays, you got to really get out there and get the word out, because there's really only about 3 or 4 really good comic stores in Chicago, and they're one of them. So I was surprised. And the guy Patrick, who approached me about it's a super nice guy. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'm not really in it looking to sell pieces, but hey, if they sell them and it's they're in on it, that's great for them.
Sal, it's Shane. I got to tell you, I'm excited for you. I love your Sketch of the Day stuff on Facebook. I look forward to it every day. It's awesome.
It is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I get it. It's like I fall in and out of it a little bit when I get busy with shows, but it's something that I would definitely do every day. I started doing it. Buzz and I started it.
Yeah.
Buzz and Eddie Newell and I and Joel Adams, we started doing it. And Eddie's stuff is just a little too complicated to do one a day, and Buzz was doing it for a while, and then he kind of fell in and out of it, and but I just found it was almost like therapy to do it. Oh man, I'm telling you, every one of these drawings has got like a story behind it of what kid was sick, or what hour of the night I was up, or
I can relate to those stories.
Yeah, what was going on, or you were in between things, or you were bored, or you were fighting with your wife, or something. So depending what was going on with every piece, there's always. It was never just, I was sitting at Starbucks and I thought I would draw, Devil Dinosaur. It was always, my kid had an earache, and I got tired of Law and Order reruns, so I thought, hey, what the hell? I'll do the Black Condor or some bullshit. And I found the more obscure guys I did, the more people liked them, because there was actually like 6 people that remembered some of these characters.
Now, I'm looking at the people who are responded to the invitation on Facebook, and one of those people is Angel Medina. Will he actually be there?
I hope so. Angel lives in the area. He lives about, I want to say about a half an hour from outside of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And, Angel and I have been friends for a lot of years, so I really hope he comes, because he's a good guy and he'll have a good time. And I invited a ton of people. I don't know. I understand if people can't make it, because, like I said, it's a crazy time of the year, and the weather in Chicago is really getting bad now. But, it's going to be there a month, So I told people, I said, look, if you can't make it Friday, it's cool. And, and I've been getting lots of moral support for it from people. So it's I'm kind of actually surprised because most people only over the years have made the connection with me with Alex. So and Sienkiewicz, which is fine, but that's not really, kind of what stirs my soul. This stuff is really why I got into the comic business. So it's cool. I was surprised. I really was. It's not false modesty. I mean, I love what I do, and I'm confident about my skills because I've been an artist my whole life. But I really didn't expect a gallery show. I just kind of thought, you do this stuff because you love it. You keep your chops up, but you don't really. If you're waiting around for someone to pat you on the back as an artist, it just doesn't happen. So it's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
My mother still asks me what I want to do for a living. She asked me that the other day. She's like, "You draw?" And I go, "Have we met?" That's my mom. It kills me. She goes, "Well, I knew you did that stuff, but I didn't know what that was." So I swear to God, I don't know if our parents is it that generation where they just don't give a shit, or if it's not about something they're doing, they don't,
Oh, it's totally about something that they're not doing. I can talk about something really important and big, and my mom goes, "Yeah, and my stomach hurt. I had a bug." I'm like, "Mom, I was just talking about something."
Yeah. They're thinking about what they're going to say 2 words into what you're telling them, which is important. Or they ask you questions that they don't even give a shit about the answer. She'll be like, "Well, who's going to this thing?" And then she lowers her voice. "It's not anything illegal, is it?" Like, yeah, Mom, yeah. It's all stolen, every piece.
Oh, jeez.
And so I told my sister, I said, you can't bring her because my mother will embarrass me to no end with, why is it so far? And, it's a bad neighborhood over here. We almost got hit on the head. And, so I told my sister, I said, don't bring her.
I read your post when you said your mom asked you, why are the tree branches or the tree roots from the neighbor's yard invading her space or something?
Yeah. We had a problem with her something with her basement. There was water coming in, whatever. So the guy, I called the plumber, and he's like, "Yeah, you got tree roots, And so my mother goes, "Well, why is that my problem? Why do the neighbors' tree roots have to come and bother me? That shouldn't be my." And I go, "Ma, I haven't talked to the trees lately, but they don't listen to me anymore." I go, "She's like, we don't have any trees." I'm like, "Ma, you got a tree every 10 feet by your house. What are you talking about?" "Yeah, but those are small trees." I go, "Yeah, okay." And then you find yourself explaining something to a crazy person. You're explaining red to a blind man. There's no point of continuing. Oh. So I finally just said, "Ma, the pipe is fixed. Don't worry about it. Tree roots are tree roots. What can I do?" "Yeah, but we should tell the mayor." "Yeah, all right, I'll call the mayor." Call the mayor, Ma.
I laugh because I can relate.
Yeah, they're all nuts. I told my wife that when we got, before we got married, I go, "That's all you need to remember is that my family's crazy, and that everything that they say, don't try to apply any logic to any of it. It's like the Citizen Kane of fucking insanity at my house."
So Sal, I was Jamie and Tasha and I went to the Alex Ross exhibit at the Andy Warhol Museum this weekend, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad. I got your text. I'm glad you guys liked it. They really. I got to say, we worked on it a lot, but in the end, the Warhol people really, really did a tremendous job. That's all them. I mean, they set that gallery up. They painted it. They laid the way they laid it all out, and it really, the way they reached out and got a lot of those pieces on loan. The Norman Rockwell stuff and the Andrew Loomis. I mean, they went above and beyond, anything that we could have possibly hoped to get for, a gallery show for Alex. So, and I guess they're doing really well. They told me that the attendance is like double, what it was this time last year, and they seem really pleased with it. So I'm just glad to hear people like it. We've gotten a couple of reviews they sent me. I guess it's pretty positive. So I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, it was well worth the time, and so kudos to you for all the work you put into that, because it couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of when you got to get stuff loaned and all that Marvel stuff. Most of that stuff is out of his private collection that he doesn't want to part with, and getting him to loan it all, like that whole Marvel story, Marvel Zero, and a lot of those covers. That's stuff that he wanted to keep, and he's had it tucked away for all these years. And I said, no, if they can't protect it, who the hell's going to protect it? So, and the Warhol people, when they reached out to us, it was not an automatic. I mean, it went back and forth for a while. It was like a 3-year process to get that, for them to finally, say, okay, let's go with this, because there's a lot of, they got to run it by the curator, and then the curator a couple of times got they changed the curators, and Jesse, Kowalski, guy who was on your show, he fought for it from the first day, so it was really kind of his baby. And they a lot of the guys over there don't like comic art. The fine art world has never really embraced comic art, so it's nice to see that it's getting a fair shake.
Now, I thought you had said, is the exhibit, once it's done at the Warhol, is it going to travel up to the Norman Rockwell Museum next?
Yeah, it's going up to, and that's in Pennsylvania too, right? I think that's up near you guys.
I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I know it's close to us.
Yeah, it's in I know it's in Pennsylvania. It's heading up there in the fall. Mm-hmm. It's going to be with the Warhol people, I want to say till the end of January, and then they're going to shake things up a little bit, I think, because they want to promote it, and then I know that it's already signed to go up to the Rockwell Museum, and then from there, I'm not sure. They're shopping it around a little bit. I guess that's how museums make their money nowadays. They put shows together, and then I guess they loan them to other museums, and then you pay them a fee. But the way the economy's been, a lot of museums aren't really taking on pieces on loan right now. Is what the Warhol people told me. Mm-hmm. So I know for sure it's going to. The contract we have with them is it's supposed to travel for 3 years, but I don't know how long it's going to be gone. Yeah, and I'm like, fine, as long as it's making the round. But the problem is if you want to get it into the Art Institute here and MoMA or any of the big museums like in New York, Chicago, and L.A. They book their stuff like 3-4 years in advance. Wow. So yeah, it's kind of hard to book something like that far in advance with them, but I'm just my work is done with the Warhol, and when the Rockwell stuff starts, then I'll have to start all over again. I'm sure.
Speaking of traveling, I don't know if we've talked to you since you came back from Lucca. How was that this year?
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Well, it wasn't Lucca. It was New York, and then it was Lucca.
Oh, that's right.
New York, you guys saw New York. I mean, New York was like a zombie walk, man. It was so much work, and I honestly did not see New York coming, even though it was great turnout last year. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be the shitstorm it was this year, and it was just, I did 4 trips in 5 weeks. I did the Warhol, I did San Diego for the meeting with them, which turned out to be all about nothing. They were going to the reason I went out there was everybody was supposed to move. They were going to move everybody around this year at San Diego because some of the bigger companies wanted the comic section, the publisher section broken up. And then that was the rumor, so then it never happened, so I went out there for nothing. And then we did the Warhol, and then we did New York, and then we did Lucca. But New York, I mean, you guys saw it. I mean, I think it's fast on the way to becoming the East Coast San Diego, only with half the amount of room.
Yes.
San Diego has. So my ass was hanging out for 4 days. I don't even remember New York. I was so fucking tired. I mean, my God. I was like a $2 bitch at that show. I mean, I was like fighting for a bathroom. I was shitting in coffee cans. I mean, it was terrible. I went to where they towed the cars to take a shit at New York. That. Yeah, I found behind it they have the lot where they tow them, and it was the only toilet that didn't have a line. And it was just like, well, I don't give a shit. I'll just pretend like I'm looking for my car.
Well, because of your mutant power, you can shit anywhere you want to anyway. I
just went in the back. I honestly, I mean, I guess it's a good thing because, for comics, because there's so many of the smaller shows now. But next year it's only going to get worse because it's that 18 to 25, core audience that advertisers want. So, and Reed does not discriminate against who they're going to give a booth to, like San Diego does or other shows do. So you're going to see next year every Power Drink and Old Spice and I'm not fucking kidding. You're going to see every whorehouse and every guy who's selling LASIK surgery and every guy that cuts warts off with a booth next year at that show, and it's expensive. It's a great. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad it's doing well, but it's expensive, that show, man. It's pricey as hell, and also a lot of the TV people and movie people who used to pimp their fall stuff at San Diego, they pulled out of San Diego because they discovered it was just too far away from the fall season for it to do any good, or so they felt. Well, now you got New York, and you've got a whole new season that the advertisers want to pimp stuff in, that they're going to jump on the Javits next year at New York. So I'm only expecting it to get a lot worse. You know, and Luca got a lot worse, which I didn't see coming. They added a day to my horror, which was a big waste of time. They didn't really need to add that extra day. It was just a lot more work. And, you know, it was nice. It was about the same amount of business, only, you know, an extra day. And I love Luca, but it's I don't know if the shows are getting harder or I'm getting older, you know, or both. But, you know, I came home from Italy, man, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like tired, like beyond tired. It was like I was like fucking Clockwork Orange when I got home. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck do I do for a living again? You know, I mean, and then when you got to spend time with Tiziano and Chris Roop and all these other jagoffs. I mean, these are world-class Olympic level jagoffs. These are not regular jagoffs. These are like Dream Team, Marvel team-up jagoffs. These are not your average, oh, hey, you know, it's the Wizard or Texas Twister kind of villains. No. These are like jagoffs at a level where it takes you 3 issues to get rid of them kind of jagoffs. You know? It's like Tiziano and Chris Roop. It's like fucking Green Goblin. It's not the Green Goblin. It's the Sinister Six, you know? It's the Frightful Four. You know, it's fucking Infinity Gauntlet like times 10 with Puerto Ricans involved. You know, that's how bad it is when I got to deal with these guys. So, you know, and you try, you know, you need help, but yet you're like, what the fuck, man? I can't take this anymore. You know, and I'm trying to, and you talk and no one listens to you, and you know, you scream and no one listens to you, and you know, you find yourself, you know, walking around holding your chest and you know, there's more and more clients and more bullshit, but in the end, everybody's like, well, comics are dying, and I'm like, they are? I don't know. The shows I go to, they look like they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I saw all the Facebook updates from like Ty and from Tiziano, and it's all like drinking and eating. Like, were they at the convention at all?
But you see, Pants, you got to remember 2 things.
Okay.
One, they're updating all the time when they're supposed to be working. Okay? 2,
kind of wondered
they're all
that.
people that I didn't fucking invite to Italy. People go, well, why do you let them go? I'm like, I don't own Italy. I don't stand at the fucking gate and go, you can come in, you can't come in. I'm not fucking Klaus Barbie in Auschwitz where I fucking determine who goes and who doesn't go. It's like, I didn't invite half of these jagoffs. Hi, we got stopped there everywhere we went because they thought he was fucking Al-Qaeda, that son of a bitch. I'm not kidding. He was the only guy in Italy that they go, holy shit, look at the Americans. They brought their terrorists with them. Look. And I'm like, I'm not fucking stopping at security for this asshole. I'm telling you right now. If they want to take him for Homeland Security, take him. You know, I'll sell his ass for like an upgrade. No problem. There you go. Let me sit where I can stretch my feet 4 extra inches, and I'll sell Ty out right away. There you go. Fuck him. Chris Roop, he's like a circus animal in Italy. He's the only hillbilly. They've never seen a hillbilly before. So they go, oh, fuck, look at a hillbilly. I didn't invite him either. Tiziano, the whole fucking time he's there, I mean, it's different because at least he speaks the language. Right. You know, we know who to bribe so we don't get arrested with his around. But all these other jagoffs, you know, I didn't invite them. I mean, it's a freak show in the apartment because you got Fletch from D.C., he's a yellow bastard. Then I got the fucking Ty, he's Shadow Thief. I don't know who the fuck invited him. Then I got Roop, he's the fucking hillbilly. Okay, then I got Tiziano, the fucking gray goose who walks around with a cigarette in his hand all the time. You know, like he's at the opening at the Sands on Friday. But, you know, and in New York, it's equally as bad because you know it's like they set us up next to Stan Lee. You know, 0 in the way of crowd control, and it was a shitstorm all weekend. Stan God love him. He has no business doing a lot of these shows anymore where they throw him to the wolves. I mean, they threw Stan to the wolves at New York. He was at a small booth, a 10 by 20, and no crowd control, mind you. They didn't provide a line, any kind of organization to set up a line for this guy. And Stan, he's pretty fucking frail now, man. Let me tell you. And to have the crowds, the pushing and the shoving and the reaching and the grabbing, something's going to happen. Something bad is going to happen with this guy. They really need to rein in a lot of these personal appearances that he's doing, or organize the crowd control a hell of a lot better, which they didn't do it in New York. And I complained. I told him, I said, guys, this guy's gonna fucking get pushed and fall or something, and it's gonna turn ugly real fast. So but hey, with as many shows, and Emerald is getting like that. Emerald Con started out a nice little friendly, happy con, and now it's turned into a pig fuck, Seattle style. And Jim, the fucking guy invites everybody. I mean, he invited my neighbor, and my neighbor doesn't even draw. I mean, how the fuck Jim, he invites everybody. He invites artists that are dead. He's like, Sal, can you give me Jack Kirby's info? I want to invite him to Emerald. I'm like, Jim, Kirby's dead. Oh, he is? Oh, well, never mind. You think he'll come? I'm like, no, he's dead, Jim. But yeah, if I ask him for something, he looks at me like, well, Sal, I don't know. I'm not sure. You got fucking Chap Yap and guys I never heard of there. But I'm talking about him right now. It all started with when he came on with you guys with that Kirby Crackle shit. I'm telling you, it all went through his head. Those fucking Greeks. I'm telling you. So I'm sorry. I digress. But you guys saw New York. I mean, what did you think? I mean, is it a good thing? Is it just fucking ugly? I mean, it's. I knew a lot of people that were like, I can't do this. It's too crowded. A lot of my clients were like, Sal, I can't fight those types of crowds. And I understand.
Yeah, it's the old Yogi Berra thing. No one goes anymore. It's too crowded. But it really was tough. We were at the north end of the convention center, literally looking at the north wall. And when I would venture out anywhere, you had to plan, provisions. Oh, I'll be back in an hour. I
couldn't even get over to see you guys.
I know.
Every time I started over to see you guys, you get 40 minutes out, and I'm not even halfway there yet.
Right.
And I got to go back. I can't even find where anything is anymore over there. And next year they're adding the whole, like they use that one whole, that staging area.
Mm-hmm.
They told me they're expanding it to to have the whole hall next year.
Oh boy.
And it's not going to make it any easier. I mean, getting a cab out there is still, a fist fuck. I mean, it's unbelievable trying to get a cab, fighting with the guy out in front with the hot dogs. Everybody bitches to me about hotels, and I can't get in. Trying to get clients just to find you is a difficult thing, But, will I be there? Of course. It's New York. The whole publishing industry is there. You have to do New York. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean, I wouldn't prefer using Vaseline, which you don't get with New York. It's like in your high school fucking with your clothes on again, But you wind up with those purple sores on your dick because, your girl's like, oh, Sal, I'm worried, When an Italian guy gets me pregnant, my father will kill me. Yeah, wow. Imagine what he'll do to me. He's going to kill you.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry. I promised my wife I would be serious. She's just like, look, you're going to talk about this art thing, so don't act like an asshole like you always do. I hear you in the next room. I hear things like Cincinnati bow ties and you're talking about shitting. Those guys don't want to hear that stuff. And I'm like, you're right. The whole car ride home, I promised her I wasn't going to, talk about humping or anything like that, or shitting or anything.
Now, will your wife come to the exhibit at all?
Yeah, she'll be there Friday. She said she's coming if we're still married. I mean, I don't know if after this conversation I'll get served with papers when I go in the next room. But, she said she's coming. I think she's coming just so that I won't go out afterwards with all these jagoffs that say they're going to come. But, I told most of my friends we're handing out government cheese, so they'll be there Friday. Don't worry about it. That's why Angel's coming. I told him Tito Puente albums are half off. Like, fuck. ATM in the area?
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I needed that laugh. Holy shit.
So, will the art be priced to move?
Everything's $100.
Oh, okay.
Everything. Every flat price each piece. It's all the same price. I didn't vary it. This one is this price. This one's that price. I told them. I said, guys, they're all 11 by 17s. They're done with marker and mixed media, which is pretty much just pen and ink and marker. I use Copic markers on a lot of them. And, they're meant to just be, small items, Christmas gift kind of items. If people want a drawing of, whoever for whatever, the price for these guys to sell them, I'm not going in there with any delusions, They're not paintings or anything like that. So, yeah, $100 each.
That's nice.
And I'll even give you a reach around if you buy more than one.
Signed and numbered reach arounds.
Signed and numbered reach arounds, and three-fingered McGillas if you buy two villains and a hero. Yes, And I'm a southpaw, so it goes a long way. Spit on my fingers if you buy two villains and a hero.
But actually, you can take the pieces home with you right when you buy them.
Right there, as you go. Exactly. You buy them, you take them home. I wouldn't, operate heavy machinery and look at them, or anything like that. But, because, look, they're clearly not for everybody. Some people like a much more polished, more mainstream look into the characters. My stuff is more just, I kind of make it a little rough around the edges because that's just kind of how I see these guys. Mm-hmm. That's how I always thought it should be more of a product of your imagination, less of a fine tune to all of them. Because then, but again, that stuff is fine too. I'm big fans of that stuff, but that's why a lot of my stuff is the way it is. It's just meant to be kind of. I like it rough around the edges. Which is, why I'm talking to you and not working for Marvel. No, I'm kidding. I'd much rather be talking to you than working for Marvel.
Yes.
Those guys are those guys. Working with those guys. I mean, right now I'm doing more. I'm starting more independent stuff, and it's perfect. The way the business has changed so dramatically, it's a lot different now. I mean, I've talked to a lot of editors and assistant editors, and it's just different now. And not only that. The way the business is, a lot of the page rates have gone down. I mean, a lot of these companies are just having to. There's a big thing going on that I was talking to a lot of creators at Luca about. Of a lot of creators that are jumping ship. They're jumping back and forth to different companies because they're fighting to try to get more dough out of some of these companies because Marvel and DC are fighting over, page rates, cover rates. Things are dropping unless you're a heavy hitter, big name guy. I mean, I've heard horror stories of some of these guys making $40, $50 a page, which is like slave wages. I mean, that's like a day. That's a day's work.
Right.
And that's to do 22 pages a month. I mean, that's like, and we're talking you're working 8-10 hours a day if you're fast. And so, and that's pre-taxes. So, not to say that everybody's getting that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying, but unless you're a big name who's marketable guy, I've heard horror stories of what's going on now because of a lot of the lower tiered books that just aren't selling. So I guess that that Son of Hulk Scar book might not be the way to go right now. Is that his name? Scar? Wasn't it the lion from the Lion King? Or I heard that. I go, wait a minute, that's fucking Jeremy Irons, isn't it? In the Lion King. And I'm like, who's fucking the Hulk? This guy's getting a piece of ass, and it's Chris Roop still running around a virgin? Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
And I shared a room with those two assholes in New York.
Yeah.
The two guys that work with me. Man, oh, man. Whew, that was not a lot of fun.
God bless you.
That was, yeah. That was. I mean, you guys have to share rooms, right? What's your limit now? How many will you put in a room?
I think we found the ceiling.
10.
Yes.
5 or 6 is frequent,
No, we've done. No, listen, I've done. I early days with Buzz. We've done 12, 13. Oh, I'm not kidding. I slept in bathtubs. I mean, because there was no room. I mean, you just wherever. Empty spot of floor, man. You hit it, and you use your shoes with a towel for a pillow. And all that kind of shit. Sleep on a pizza box. But I've got limits now, man. These guys, some of these guys, they just don't know how to behave when they're in hotel rooms, and they turn stuff into a shitstorm. It's like sharing a room with your sister. Where they fuck everything up, and you go, and you got shit all over. And then Chris takes those protein powders. Okay, what the fuck is that all about? I'm like, hey. Fucking Franco Colombo. Where are you going with that shit? What are you getting ready for fucking Helsinki, or what are you doing? I mean, I love these jagoffs that they what was it, tiger milk or some bullshit, and you're like, guys, where are you going? What are you going to wake up tomorrow and be fucking super soldier, or where are you going with this shit? It's over. Forget it. What you look like now is what you're going to be for the next fucking 40 years before they come and fucking drag you away. Tiger milk, what? Or, oh, no, I can't eat that. I'm on the Atkins. You're like, guys, stop it. Stop it. Look at me. This is it. This is as good as it's ever going to fucking get, and you're drinking fucking tiger milk. Stop it. Once you're over 40... It's a fucking sleigh ride right into misery. It's all over. You have a stroke, and I'll be shitting with my clothes on pretty soon, I'll be the guy at the grocery store walking around with slippers and black socks. All right? And you're drinking tiger milk. Where the fuck are you going with tiger milk? What are you fighting, Hydra? What is this shit? And I see it, and they buy it by the case. Oh, you save money, so when you buy it in volume. Like, save money from what? It's 40 cents a can when you buy it separately. So buy a case. Oh yeah, it's 36 cents then if you buy a case. You save 40 cents. Okay. Here's an idea. So, drink a cup of coffee.
Speaking of looking good, Sal, there was that picture of you at the Andy Warhol Museum in the Captain Marvel costume, posing for Alex.
Oh, that was many moons ago, my friend. Let me tell you. That was, I want to say, 94.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to know the scary thing? I'm 100 pounds heavier now than I was when I took that picture of Captain Marvel.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that. About 75 pounds. And I wasn't married. And, when you're not married, it's all about, the disco and your... I thought I was fucking Danny Terrio in those days. Now, that fucking costume... And that Jagoff had 2 different Captain Marvel costumes because he had one for Kingdom Come, but he didn't like that. So he had a custom-made one, because he liked to get the way he was looking more for... He, being Alex, was looking for the way the folds were in the costume and, the way the metallic, thing were on the belt and the other parts. So we used to have these photo shoots, but Alex was so crazy about these photo shoots. He was meticulous about every little detail that, sometimes it got, and he would use these lights, like those lights they use at McDonald's to keep the French fries warm. Regular photo lights, forget it. Cost what, $3? So he used to use these other fucking lights that I kid you not. It was like being on the surface of the sun when you do these photo shoots, these horrible costumes. And one time we were doing a photo shoot in his living room, and he kept answering the phone. He kept stopping to talk on the phone. And there were a bunch of guys across the street that were changing like a power line or something. And so they're standing there, and I see them looking over, like pointing and laughing and looking and pointing. And I go, Alex, you know what's going on, right? Those 2 guys over there are looking over here, those ComEd guys. They probably think we're shooting fucking porno movies or something over there. And because there's me standing in a Captain Marvel costume, which could not look more. There's like maybe 6 people on the planet that can pull off a fucking body suit, and they're like guys in the Olympics that are the guys on the rings. I'm not one of those guys. With your cock hanging out and you get, just, So I'm like, Alice, can we take the picture? Can you make it up? So every one of those pictures, there's a story of misery behind that I had to post for Captain Marvel. And I still get people to this day, oh, you're Captain Marvel. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm fucking... Captain Marvel didn't live on the north side of Chicago and had a mother that complained about tree roots. No. If I could turn into Captain Marvel, would I be standing there talking to Chris Roop, with his tiger milk? Come on. I mean, think about it. And hanging around with Tiziano? Who, since we started talking, has quit Toronto Con again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he quits all the time.
Yeah.
So for three weeks or so, he'll have quit. And
Yeah, he'll be back because it was that was one of those pieces that I was surprised he still had it. It was like in it, and I didn't think anybody would make the connection, but there were a couple people like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy with the it was about 3 chins ago. I was that guy." So it happens. Bags of Ruffles at 4 a.m. will do that to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Runs to Portillo's to get open-faced turkey sandwiches at 3 a.m. will do that to you.
Nice hoagie at 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, hot pastrami. At 4 a.m. When I was in New York, that was one of my haunts.
Code hot pastrami at 4 a.m.
Hot pastrami at Carnegie Deli at 4 a.m. was where I was like sleepwalking. I wind up at Carnegie Deli going, huh? Where am I? How did I get in here? And I wondered when I got home why nothing fit anymore. Yelling at my wife, what the fuck you put it in the dryer for? She's like, I didn't put anything in the dryer. Fuck, you eat like there's no tomorrow. What do you expect?
Oh, God.
Well, they canceled Captain Marvel, so who the fuck? I don't need to stay in shape anymore.
very good, sir.
So, but you guys, I'm glad you liked the show, man. I'm glad you, man. And did you get a chance to get to the gift shop at all? Because they had a lot of cool stuff in the gift shop.
Yeah, they did. It was cool.
Yeah, let me know if you guys want any of those programs or posters.
We actually have some.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because, I asked like an idiot. I go, hey, can you send me and they send me just shitloads of that stuff. And then you wind up going, thank you, but you didn't have to send me like 300 of them. What the hell am I going to do with 300 of them?
Buy a piece of art at your show, get a free poster. There you go.
Well, yeah, and then you become the guy that sells shit that they gave you for free, and then you become a bigger asshole.
Well, it was wonderful, and
guys,
and
I really
hopefully-
appreciate you letting me come on and pimp this gig. It was it's something that I'm excited about, but I didn't see it coming, and I'm quite frankly going to be curious as hell to see what people think.
I hope you have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope it goes well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what to think, about your work when you look at it, all the time. You get too close to it, you can't tell anymore. Mm-hmm. So, and then you worry because friends, and relatives are being nice sometimes, and they tell you, oh, I like it. And my wife, she's like, I don't know what it is. My wife always tells me, she's like, I don't know what that is. And my son just runs away screaming. But we'll see what happens. Again, it's there the whole month, but if people want to come Friday, it'll be cool. I'll be there, bullshitting, and I'm sure telling stories about, poodles and coffee cans. Three-fingered Magillas and pants walking around New York pissing everybody off,
Well, no blowing sunshine up your ass. Keep those Day of the Sketch stuff coming. I love looking at
I
that.
got a couple. I just did a Doc Samson I'm going to put up.
Cool.
I got to finish the background on it. But, I'm trying to, and send me, email me obscure characters if you want to see them, because I'm always looking for, obscure villains, obscure characters from, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, stuff that, not everybody knows. It could be even a 2-issue villain that never came back, those are the ones that I grew up with that I like. I was going to do a Son of Satan. I really like that book, but, I don't want people to think I'm some kind of Oh, I knew it. He's one of those satanic guys. I'll get that shit. I'll get my relatives calling me, My sister, All right, gentlemen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
All right,
much
Sal.
for joining us.
Yeah, I don't know.
Best of luck.
I'll talk for as long or as little as you want, but I'm sure you only wanted me for as little as you could possibly get me, so that you can pull the Band-Aid off real fast instead of slow, and hope that the scabs heal.
Well, hopefully you'll have nothing but fun this weekend, and you'll sell lots of stuff in the next month.
Hey.
Hope
You
so.
know, and anybody, again, that wants to check it out, they can go to my blog or go to challengers.com or samabinanti.com or even on Facebook. I post them try to get them up every day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sal.
All right,
and if
guys.
we don't
Hey,
talk
thanks.
to you, you have a great Christmas.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, you guys too. Have a good holiday. I'll see you, the next show, Emerald?
Probably.
Yeah, Emerald City. Yep.
Yeah, or what, Anaheim is before that, or no?
I won't be there, but
It's after that, but we won't be there, unfortunately.
Yeah, Anaheim and Emerald, and then C2E2's in April.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. But Emerald's a good show. I'll see you at Emerald.
All right, Sal.
All right, gentlemen, have a happy holiday.
all right, you too.
Merry
All
Christmas.
right, thanks again.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Yes.
Oh boy, did I
Always
need that laugh.
pleasure talking to Sal.
That was good.
I want to know what the hell a three-fingered Magilla is.
Yeah, really. Next time I see him, that's going to be my icebreaker. Like,
That's a hell of an icebreaker. But if you go to the Challenger store, behind the counter, they have a wall where they have artists who just draw on the wall. And Sal drew an Atomica on the wall there. And when I was up at Challengers in March, I signed Pants Was Here right by his little guy. So I'm on the wall at Challengers too.
Anything else before we go?
I'm out of breath. Oh
No,
my
that was
God.
good.
I think I bruised my sternum from laughing too hard.
You probably did.
Whew, man.
I enjoyed the laugh. That was good. And I hope he has a good. I hope he has a good turnout. Good time.
Yeah. We have a lot of listeners in Chicago area,
Yeah.
and hopefully they turn out to see him.
And I'm glad to hear that exhibit's going to the Norman Rockwell Museum. Maybe if I don't get out to Pittsburgh in the next month and a half, maybe I'll get up to that one.
Wow, but for 3 years traveling around.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If I don't get to see it, I'll be disappointed in myself terribly. Terribly, terribly.
Let's go right now. Hop in the car.
Oh, God, I wouldn't a heartbeat.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and please go check out Sal's exhibit. It's going to be awesome, and Sal's shown us so much support over the years. Show him a little in return, and go check out his exhibit.
Absolutely.
All right. This episode was brought to you by the London Super Comic Convention, happening February 25th and 26th, 2012, at the Excel Center in London. Go to londonsupercomic-convention.com to buy your tickets and for all the necessary information. If you'd like to send us an email, you can contact us. I'm moving the wrong dial. There you go. That's better.
I've never done that.
comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. Visit our website at comicgeekspeak.com. Leave us a voicemail. The number is 267-702-6642. We're on Facebook and Twitter. We're Comic Geek Speak. Find us. You can talk on the forums at thecomicforums.com. We want to thank everyone who has donated to the show. We really appreciate it. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.